And then came my third tweet, which I believe was widely misconstrued, misinterpreted. I don't follow what's happening on Twitter. I just tweet. But my boss here at Fox called and said, hey, people are really reacting strongly to your tweet. Maybe you should clarify.
Good morning, yes.
Good morning.
There's been a lot of speculation of why I wasn't on air yesterday, and I won't get into speculation or conjecture or innuendo, but I will say this. In watching that game on Monday night, what happened to Damar Hamlin struck me a little different. As a brotherhood in the NFL, when injuries happen, when we know injuries are a part of the game, I've seen guys suffer ACLs and Achilles tear, but I've never seen anybody have to be revived and fight for their life on the field. So it struck me a little differently because I remember seeing my brother paralyzed on the field temporarily, and he was able to regain focus. Skip tweeted something, and although I disagree with the tweet, and hopefully Skip would take it down, but I didn't want it.
Well, time out. I'm not going to take it down because I stand by what I tweeted.
Skip, let me finish.
All right, okay.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Go ahead, let's go, Jen.
Okay.
I mean, I cannot even get through a monologue without you interrupting me.
Well,
you could have came back, Skip.
Well, I thought.
Skip, just let.
I didn't know you were going to bring up
No,
this.
I was just going to say, Skip. I didn't want to yesterday to get into a situation where Damar Hamlin was the issue. We should have been talking about him and not get into your tweet. That's what I was going to do. But you can't even let me finish my opening monologue without you interrupting.
Okay. I was under the impression you weren't going to bring this up because nobody here had a problem with that tweet.
No. Clearly, the bosses wanted you to offer explanations, so clearly somebody.
No, they did not have. Nobody.
A few moments earlier.
But my boss here at Fox called and said, hey, people are really reacting strongly to your tweet. Maybe you should clarify.
You have a coworker named Denise, and Denise has a 17-year-old son that's driving, but he doesn't have his own car, he's driving hers. So you come into work one day and Denise is crying hysterically at her desk, and you find out it's because her son was in a car accident. She got a call 10 minutes ago from someone who was on scene, and the news is not good. He's in critical condition, and she doesn't know much else. Now you don't know the boy very well, but you feel compassion and sorrow for her, because you can only imagine what it's like to have a loved one fighting for their life, especially one so young. So then you go into the break room and you see another coworker, John, talking about Denise's son and the accident. And the first words out of John's mouth are,
Didn't Denise just get that car a year ago? She loved that car. Always talked about how great it was. I like it. I was thinking about getting one for myself. Shame what happened to it. I'm sure she's got insurance, so she won't have to pay off the rest. But what about what she's already paid into it? And a 17-year-old driving? Whew, I'm sure her insurance rates are gonna go up. Oh, but yeah, her son being in critical condition, that sucks too.
What are you talking about?
Now you immediately think that John was crazy because he's showing more concern for the car than her critically injured son, who no one knows will survive. Yeah, he said a few kind words about the kid in passing, but his primary focus, the first area in which he showed the most worry, was about the car, not the boy fighting for his life. That's what Skip Bayless did Monday night on Twitter when Bills safety Damar Hamlin lied unconscious on the field after suffering cardiac arrest from a blow he took to the chest. While he laid there on the field, unable to breathe on his own, Skip was worried about the game. While he lost his pulse, Skip was worried about how the NFL was going to make up the game. While players were on the sideline crying because they thought their teammate and friend was dying, Skip was worried about how this would affect the playoff seeding. Then he reminisced about the good old days, when athletes' health and welfare didn't matter because the league was focused on keeping people entertained. So the show went on, quoting,
I've seen so many horrific injuries suffered in football fields, yet never have I seen a reaction like this. In every other situation I witnessed or covered, the game always went on fairly quickly. The attitude was, hey, that's football. For these guys, this was different.
And if that statement wasn't dumb enough, he doubled down.
No doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of the game. But how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems irrelevant.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
So just like the illustration I gave you earlier about the coworker John, yeah, he said a few kind words about the kid, but his focus, his primary concern was the game. He wants to know how the NFL is going to make it up, because it's late in the season and it's crucial to playoff seeding.
Yes, the kid might be dying, but for the love of God, what about the game? Will someone please think about the game?
Now, he didn't say that. That's just how he sounds in my head, worrying about a game when a player is fighting for his life down on the field. Yeah, it's sickening, it's disturbing. Now, I commend Shannon Sharpe for not showing up to work the following day to sit across from him, and I agree with most of what little he said before Skip cut him off. However, I don't agree that Skip should take down the tweet, because after all, Skip stands by what he says. And while I don't necessarily think Skip is a racist, I don't believe he thinks highly of athletes, especially black ones. I don't think he has any respect for them because he has a history of getting out of pocket.
That's just, you have no objectivity. It's just straight Brady hate. Wait a minute. This is just straight hate by a guy who's jealous that he is still playing at a high level at 45 when you had to stop at 35.
That's what you do.
That's the point.
That's what you do. Every time I call something into question, I'm jealous.
No.
I did what I did.
I never said you were jealous of Baker Mayfield.
I did what I did. You make it seem like I was a bum. I'm in the effing Hall of Fame.
Okay,
I got 3 Super Bowls.
So what?
So what?
He's way better than you were.
I'm better than you.
Better.
What did I got to see what you do? You take personal shots.
No, I don't take personal shots. You started it.
Time out. You would take a personal shot at me.
I didn't take a personal shot at you.
Wait a minute.
What are you talking about?
You would take a personal
Put your
shot.
glasses back on.
Can I finish? You're willing to take a personal shot at me to say this man is better than me because I say he's playing bad this year?
Well, because you just
Go ahead.
you disrespect him. It's just
So you would just
you know what? It's beneath your
you would
dignity.
disrespect me to support him.
No, well I'll support him over anybody because he's the greatest player who ever played your game, and it's by
Have at
far.
it. Have at it.
Okay,
Take off,
I'm
bro.
going to have at it because I'm going to have at you.
It's also why I don't believe in censorship on social media. I don't want people like Skip Bayless hiding behind their feelings, pretending as if they're decent people. If you don't think highly of men that share my reflection, I want to know. I want to see your thoughts on display because I want to know who my enemies are. So I'm glad that Skip is publicly standing by what he said and refusing to apologize. I'm glad he's letting us know how he feels and what he thinks especially about black athletes. And I hope others treat him accordingly. Now, do I think Skip should have been fired? No, I wouldn't have fired him for what he tweeted. I would have fired him for standing by it, for refusing to apologize for it, because what he says reflects poorly on Fox Sports. As an employee and media figure, he represents who they are. Every time he speaks, tweets, or releases a statement, he represents them. And if I owned Fox, I wouldn't want people associating him with my brand. Now, if I was Shannon Sharpe, I'd refuse to work with Skip. I wouldn't demand his resignation, that's too much, too messy, but I'd quit. And I wouldn't go over to ESPN either. That network is a non-stop misandrous nightmare. Going over there would be a huge step backwards. Because as bad as Skip Bayless is, Malika Andrews is exponentially worse. And Shannon Sharpe is a highly successful YouTuber. His channel does well. He has sponsors, and right now he's closing in on 1 million subscribers. And if you ever watched, he has no problem getting top flight guests. I think he'd do well on his own, so he doesn't need to deal with Skip anymore. There's no reason for him to continue putting up with his antics. So yeah, Skip has got to go. Skip has got to go. The old man has lived past his usefulness. So if you like this video, please give it a like and leave a comment in the comments section and share the link on your social media platforms. And if you are new to my channel, please subscribe and turn on that notification bell. That way you'll get alerts every time I upload new content. This is the Layman's Journal. Thanks for stopping by. I'm out.